Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about Target the other day. It had basically gone up 16% from on their earnings. Um, Me personally, I think there were some shorts involved because ideally, my opinion, especially a big multi-billion dollar company, a large cap company like Target, um, shouldn't really move that much. Shouldn't move 16% in a day off of um, earnings beat. Um, I mean, the estimate was 136 and they got 193. So, I mean, that's good. I mean, but look down here. I mean, they're spending. I mean, they're getting 109 billion in revenue, but they're only earning not even $3 billion. Whereas the year before they had earned $7 billion, and a lot of these losses be um, might be due to the retail theft. Target insiders sell 6 million of stock. But I mean, I'm happy for the people who made money or almost broke even. Um, Let me see. But the revenue was down. So I mean, like I said, normally if you beat on the top and the bottom and you have good forward guidance, yeah, the stock might go up 5% or something. Um, yeah, they beat on the top, but they didn't beat on the bottom, and it's not good news for the forward guidance. I mean, the revenue fell. There's a decline in store sales. You know, they got to hire 100,000 seasonal workers for Christmas. That's a big expense. I mean, this is a very low operating income margin was 5%, up from 3.9%. I mean, this could be wiped out with theft. I mean, I don't know about your town or city, but um, where I'm at, you know, I see homeless people on every street corner. I see people begging for money everywhere you look. Um, I see people waking up every day to go into Target or Walmart or whatever and steal as much merchandise as they can. Um, this must be the chief financial officer. Shrink or retail theft is still a significant obstacle. So I don't really like Motley Fool. Let me see if I can. Why they're still a buy? Um, I like this article right here that I read. With Target, there's a lot more to dislike than like. Here's how to trade it. Now, granted, this guy was basically short Target, and he's long TJX. And like TJX beats raised guidance and sells off a bit, but meanwhile, Target went up 16 or 18% in a single day. So 4.6% less store sales, 6% digital sales. The number of transactions was down 4% year over year, and the average transaction size was down. All right, here's gross margin. That's pretty good. This is what worries me right here. Fiscal year to date. Through 9 months, Target has generated operating cash flow of $5 billion, almost tenfold as net earnings were up and inventories were down from the year ago period. You know, back when COVID was happening, all the retailers, they were worried about getting enough inventory because it was taking so long to get inventory from China. And there were just ships like just stuck in China that weren't shipping their goods over here. So what happened was a lot of retailers overbought inventory, and then they were in this period where they had too much inventory instead of not enough. The earnings were up, inventories were down. The firm spent almost $4 billion on capex. All right, so look, their operating cash flow was $5.3 billion, but they spent $4 billion on capex. What's capex? Capital expenditures. So that's buying, forklifts or shopping carts or uniforms or whatever things they need to operate their business. Maybe it's just buying inventory. Maybe a chunk of that is just buying inventory. So taking free cash flow up to 1.3 billion, for the 9 months. So it's not quite a year, but it's close to a year. 9 months is close to 12 months. 12 months in a year. So out of this, the firm paid 1.5 billion in cash dividends to shareholders, which unfortunately is still greater than the free cash flow generated. Then he kind of jokingly says, that said, at least the firm has been smart enough not to repurchase any common stock for its treasury this fiscal year. So yeah, I mean, it was good news that they beat the earnings forecast, but if you're earning $5 billion, you're spending $4 billion on capex, you're paying $1.5 billion in dividends. You're paying more in dividends than you made. Basically, you're paying $1.5 billion in dividends, but you only earned $1.3 billion. And I don't think their cash on hand is that good. I mean, I think they might have. I know this probably isn't accurate or up to date. Let me see. I want to say they have maybe a couple billion on hand. They got $2 billion in cash. They got $20 billion in debt. You still got to pay debt. You still got to pay interest on the debt. Here it says their payout ratio is 55%. I think it's higher than that. I don't know if these are accurate. This has a profit margin at 3% and the operating margin of 5%. And this could be wiped out with just retail theft. So it says this guy's glancing over the balance sheet. So they got $2 billion in cash. Inventory stand at $14 billion. I guess that's $14 billion. He just didn't put a B up there, and then. He has the assets at 18, the liabilities at 20, includes a 1 billion in debt that will mature within 12 months. This could be a problem right here. I mean, if you only got 1.2 billion in cash and you had to make a payment, a debt payment, this year of $1 billion. I mean, there goes your surplus right there. Total assets 56 billion, blah blah blah. Total liabilities 43 billion. The good news is that the firm is generating free cash flow. The bad news is that the firm is still returning more capital to shareholders than the free cash flow adds up to. The firm will either have to pay off the $1 billion in debt maturing over the next 12 months, which will reduce the cash balance by 60%, or refinance that debt at much higher interest rates. Margins are up, free cash flow is up, but sales are down and projected by the firm to continue on that trend. Stephen Geifel. So this guy was long TJX but short Target, and I guess he got killed, but on that day. But I think anytime when you're looking at something, you got to look at all sides. And when I was buying, if I'm gonna buy stock, I wanna hear what the negatives are. I want to hear what the naysayers are talking about, and I don't know how good this website is. This Epic Economist. It's a doomsday. They have a lot of doomsday stuff, and I mean, if Target is a retailer, I mean, granted, this is talking about and here's another article they just did. It has got Target right there, and the collapse has begun. But so take this stuff with a grain of salt. But here's just one little thing, and this was last year. The third Burger King franchise declares bankruptcy. Third major Burger King. And this guy who died during COVID, I guess, he owned 172 Burger Kings throughout Alabama and Georgia. Even McDonald's is closing some. I mean, they're making the franchisees do their own upgrades. 30% of franchises insolvent. Denny's. There was one that just said Hardee's. And even in the town I lived in, that we got two Hardee's, and one of them closed. So I don't know if they went bankrupt or what. Popeyes, Backyard Burgers, Wild Wing Cafe, Old Country Buffet. I mean, on and on and on. But Bed Bath and Beyond, Christmas Tree, David's Bridal, Tuesday Morning, Party City, Box, JCPenney, Century 21, Belk, Steinmart, Lord and Taylor, Brooks Brothers, Taylor Brands. And actually, I think a while ago, a couple years ago, I had tried to buy a little bit of Taylor Brands because the nursing scrubs I wear, I think they had a subsidiary or something that maybe I was wrong on that, but the nursing scrubs I wear are called Cherokee, and I can't remember their name, but I thought they were under the Taylor brand name, but maybe I was wrong. Neiman Marcus, J. Crew, Blockbuster, Borders. A lot of these I don't know anything about. Sports Authority, never even heard of them before. Toys R Us, of course. Radio Shack. I mean, this is the last 15 years. Rite Aid. I mean, this is recent, October 15th. I have no idea who a lot of these ones are. There's Christmas Tree. Bed Bath and Beyond. Both Buy Baby and Bed Bath and Beyond stores are slated for closure after no buyers stepped forward to purchase them. Their intellectual property, however, was sold to two separate buyers. Online-only retailer Overstock plans to rebrand itself to Bed Bath & Beyond after buying the bankrupt retailer's intellectual property, which includes customer and vendor lists and private label trademarks. A bankruptcy judge also approved a $15 million sale of Bye Baby trademark and digital assets. David's Bridal, Shoe City, Tuesday Morning. This is all this year. And the year's not even over yet. GameStop, Best Buy. I don't know. I don't like to watch a lot of these, but if you want to take a deeper dive, I watched this one about the middle class is declining. We already know that, but it says that the poverty level for a family of four is 30,000. Those who make 30 to 43,000 are labeled as low income. But yet, if you make 43 to 130, you're considered middle class. And this is just the person power. And the the only real difference between the poor and the middle class is most people in the middle class own their own home. And with interest rates so high, mortgages are what, 7%, maybe 7% now, and a while back they were 2%, and so if it's at 2%, you could buy $600,000 or $700,000 house, and then today you can only buy like a $300,000 house. So that's the huge change that interest rates had brought. Is And then what happened was all the big hedge funds and everything, they were buying up all the real estate so that the average person couldn't buy one. The only reason the real estate is still high right now, in my opinion, is because they're not building enough homes, and then you got a million people walking across the border every day, and you need some place for those people to live. But I don't want to beat up on Target too much. I do think Target, I think, will probably recover, but it might take years. I think it will go back to 200 and 180 sometime in the future, maybe the next 5 years. But I don't know that for a fact. It could go the way of Sears, and it could go the way of J.C. Penney. It could go the way of Belk. It could go the way of Bed Bath and Beyond. This is the. You can look and see. Family Christian Stores closed 240 stores. So to me, there's not enough upside to the downside risk right now. Right now, they're in trouble, and the reason they're in trouble is they only earned 1.3 billion. They paid 1.5 billion in dividends. Number two is they got a debt payment due the next year of $1 billion, and they only have 1.5 billion in cash. And for a company with a market cap of $60 billion, you should have more than $1 billion or more than $500,000 of cash laying around. Um, so I think they're going to have to probably cut their dividend. Um, they're already closing some stores, so I mean, when you cut out the stores that are losing money, I mean that could be the reason why their profits were better this quarter, because they stopped the bleeding, um, they put a tourniquet on um, the stores that were just bleeding money out, but they haven't fixed the problem. I mean, the problem is the retail thefts. That's one problem. The other problem is people don't have any money. I mean, when your food prices went up 30%, when if we go to World War III, I guarantee you the gas prices are going to go up. What happens if we go back to $5 gas? In some places in the country, they already have $5 gas, I believe. Home prices, people can't find places to stay, and people are paying $2,000 a month rent that can't afford it. They can't afford a place that's $2,000 a month rent. Your rent should only be maybe 25% of your income at the most. Maybe 20%. It shouldn't be 50% of your income is just going to rent. And then you got food high, you got and gas goes back high. I mean, that's a trifecta that are just going to crush people. And then you got student loan debts at all-time highs. You got credit card debts at all-time highs. The government in general is broke. The pension system is broke. I mean, there's people are spending way beyond their means. There was a thing in the Bible where there was, I think there was 7 years. I'm sure I'm going to misquote it, but there was 7 years of plenty and there was 7 years of lack. And basically, you save 20% of the years of plenty. When you have the years of lack, you're going to have enough to survive. But I don't know. I've kind of rambled on, but I still think that that this good news for Target really wasn't good news. The only way I can think of is that either one person just bought a bunch. I don't know what the transaction size was, but either that or a lot of people got killed on the shorts. But I mean, if you look at it on the P ratio, I mean, the P ratio of 15 is, normally about a 7% return. According to this, they're earning $8 a profit a year. Out of that $8 of profit, they're basically paying $4, a little over $4 out. So I guess that's where they get the 50%. Their earnings are 8, they pay it out 4, but actually it's less than 8. They're paying more than 4, so they're actually paying higher than 50% of their profits out. But yeah, if you bought it at 102, you're sitting pretty right now. At 130. Um, Again, I think long term, I think you'll be okay. Granted, I think they're going to survive, but I don't know that for sure. I mean, they could. I mean, who thought that like Toys R Us or someone could go bankrupt, or Bed Bath and Beyond? I mean, women love Bed Bath and Beyond. How could Bed Bath and Beyond go bankrupt? Like. And they have candles that are like worth $1, and they're selling them for like $30 a candle or $50 a candle. I don't know how they can go bankrupt, but it happened. It happened, and so when you're buying a company, you got to look at it like it's a castle, like it's a fortress. You need. If I'm buying a castle, I want to have some moats in place. I want to have some drawbridges. I want to have some archers on the ramparts. I want to have some foot soldiers guarding that front gate. I want to have some catapults and stuff. I want to have. When I look at Target right now, I see a castle where they're running out of food and they're running out of water, and cash being the main component there. And if they're paying more in dividends than they're earning, because again, they basically made $5 billion, a little over $5.3 billion for the quarter, but they had or that might have been for the year. I don't know, but they had $4 billion in capex, and then they paid. So their profit really was 1.3, but they paid 1.5 in dividends. Yeah, so this is the quarter we're talking about. So they paid more in dividends than they actually earned. And meanwhile, underneath that, you still have $1 billion debt payment that's due in the next 12 months, and you only have 1.5 billion in cash. So you're talking about a market cap, a company that with $80 billion that only is going to have $500,000 in cash. And we just talked about they have to hire 100,000 seasonal workers for Christmas. So that means they're going to have to, all that costs a lot of money to hire new employees, and those employees are not making any money for you right now. You're having to pay money to recruiters, to staffing agencies, all kinds of stuff to get these seasonal workers, and time and money to train them and get them on board before they're start making money for you. So I'm when the pandemic hit and everybody saw the stock market go up every day, I was pessimistic, and I'm still pessimistic in the long, um, we got all these aging adults in America with maybe 100,000, probably not even that, to retire on, which isn't enough to retire on, and they're relying on the government to they're relying on Social Security, which maybe is one and a half thousand or 2,000 a month, or that ain't gonna cut it. Um, we got a big drug problem in this country. We got a lot of people that don't want to work at all. Um, we got all the old people that want that want to work, and all the young people that don't want to work. And I guess the young people, they just want to get hooked on drugs and file for disability, and either that or just stand on the corner and beg for money all day, or go into Walmart and Target and steal as much merchandise as you can, and then try to resell it to buy whatever you need. But I think we're still in trouble for a little bit. I think there's still going to be some downside pressure for quite a while, and but if you're holding this thing for the next 20 years, hard to say. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Amazon takes them out. I don't know. Maybe Target's going to take out Amazon. I don't know. But the biggest downside to me about this particular company is the three biggest holders are basically the three biggest hedge funds in the world: Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock. And I want to say that BlackRock had a higher percentage than State Street, so maybe BlackRock got killed, and maybe they were shorting themselves. Like, I don't trust these companies. I don't trust the banks either. And in order to make a profit, I mean, BlackRock and these other companies, they will maybe not Vanguard, but because they just own everything. They just have like the SP 500 and the 401ks and all that kind of stuff. But if, let's say, BlackRock wanted to short Target, they could. If they wanted to take, a third of their position and short Target, they could. If they wanted to take 100% of their position and short Target, they could. And there's no Warren Buffett, there's no Bill Gates, there's no Sam Walton, that has a majority ownership in this company. I mean, over 80% of the shares are held by institutions. And institutions cannot be trusted. They're going to do what's best for them, and they could care less if Target goes bankrupt. If they can make money on the way down, they'll do it. They could short their own position and leverage it up to the moon. Because they got $22 trillion in assets. Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street have $22 trillion in assets. So If they want to fuck you, they could fuck you. And so I mean, if a Warren Buffett or someone comes in here with his 160 billion in cash and wants to pick up, Target for $50 billion or something, I would feel a lot more comfortable owning this company. But until there is a major insider that it wants to be an owner, um, and any kind of company can do a lot of kind of tricks and sneaky and sneaky things to just boost their earnings. If they're just trying to get a short-term gain, I mean, there's a lot of ways that companies can do that. And like I said, by closing those stores that were bleeding, maybe that was why they sniffed out a little profit. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a profit because you paid out more in dividends than you actually earned. So their earnings really were not earnings. Anyway, thanks for listening.